Hey, Shalom, Makim, Shalom. I want to give all praise. Salakia. I want to give all praise, our honor, and our glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Al-Washai, Ba'ashem, Makakwadash. All right, double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone and taught us his truth, and much peace, love, and salutation to the elect. All right, I'm going to make this lesson real quick, Lord willing. And I'm listening to, well, I'm almost done with Elder Apostle Tahar's lesson that he did entitled, How Do You Know You Got It? I'm 1 trillion% sure of this. And, listening to the lesson, you have the guys here on the screen, Sons of Thunder, Israelites, which, I've heard of this camp for some time now, but, when it comes to the, when it comes to the charagma, all right, written about in Revelation, the 13th chapter, the 16th verse, which we all know, us here at Great Millstone, beginning with our apostles and elders on down, we all know what that scripture says, and we all know what it is. Okay, we know what it is. It's not a question of it could be this or it might be that. No, we know what it is because the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua has revealed it unto us. All right, now, one thing that he's saying is that the word charagma doesn't mean to cut. And when you get, I'm gonna get the word. All right, and I'm gonna get one precept, and I'm gonna end the lesson. And now, just take a listen real quick here. Just listen real quick.
What is that? The grapho.
Right, and the apostle Tahar was going in on the word charagma, charagma, and then it goes back to the root word karaks. All right, and then the other word for that is grapho. Now, actually, before we play it, let's just look at it. This is the word you see here, charagma.
Strong's G 5480, charagma. Charagma.
Charagma, right? It says a stamp, an imprinted mark. Imprinted, something that's imprinted, right? An imprinted mark. And the apostle went through this definition in in his lesson, right? The mark branded upon horses, which that's a physical device that you got to use to brand a horse. Like whenever you have a horse and you want to brand it, you got to put the branding iron in the fire, wait for it to get hot, and you push it down on the horse's thigh or whatever to brand that horse. They did that with slaves. Okay, when you watch the movie Antebellum, all right, they did it to the female. That was an actual custom. If a slave ran away, they would actually brand. It was a physical brand that will be placed upon you to know who you would belong to, right? Right? A mark branded upon horses. Thing carved. Check this out. Thing carved. Sculpture. Graven work of idolatrous images. Now, it says a scratch or etching. So when you're scratching, like you hear me scratching my hand, am I physically digging into my skin right now? No. You are making a mark, though. You get what? You get ashy. And if you continue to scratch at that same spot for a long period of time, what's going to happen? You will get cut. Like if a cat scratches you, you're going to get cut. Right? You may not be gashing out blood, but you will get cut. Or etching. What is the definition of etching? Let's look up etching. Engraving, a print produced by the process of etching. The art or process of producing etching plates or objects. Engrave, use the etching process. I'm just gonna cut or carve on a surface. Cut or carve a text or design on a surface. The surface of what? Whether it be paper, whether, somebody etch on a table. The law, statutes, and commandments were etched on stone. They were cut into the stone with the laser that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua used from the chariot to put the law, statutes, and commandments on the tables of stone. That was etched onto the stone. That was cut into the stone. the action or process of etching something. See? Stamp as a badge of servitude. So if you say that if you say that the charagma being in your right hand or your forehead is sin being in your mind, and then your right hand is the action of doing it, what would be the system that Esau would use to validify if you are sinning in your mind and you're practicing it with your right hand? Which that's always been a question that we ask. How would they validify that? So you're gonna go into a store and they're gonna tell you, have you sinned today? Well, I could just say yes, and then they'll say, all right, you know what, Salakia, I had a phone call. So what would be the system that would validify you sinning in your mind and practicing it with your hand to buy or sell? What would Esau use? How would he do that? If it's not a physical device, how would that be validifiable? You won't be able to validify it, man. Come on, man. Now he said it doesn't mean to cut, right? Now let's go back here.
And I get it. But stop lying. Charagma does not mean to make an incision to cut. That's what
He said charagma does not mean to make an incision or cut. We carved a thing carved. What's the definition of a thing carved? Cut or engraved to produce an object, design, or inscription. When there's an inscription on a coin, how is that image of the president, whether you look at a quarter, George Washington, how is that image placed on the coin? It's imprinted into the coin. Back in the ancient world, it will be cut into the coin. Cut. Come on, man. Produce an object, inscription, or design by cutting into a hard material. Cutting. When you carve something, if you're carving a turkey, you're cutting it. If you're carving into a tree, you're cutting into the tree. Cut cooked meat into slices for eating. If our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. That's literally it. If our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. It's going to be more people that's not going to believe what the MOTB is versus those that are going to believe and know what it is. Then you get the roots word, karax, a pale or stake, a palisade or rampart. So when you get the word charagma, it says from the same as karax. So it's from the same word as karax. Using it's applying two it's applying two similar words together, charagma and karax, right? A pail. What is a pail? A steak, not a steak that you eat. Steak, stake. See, you see it here. You see this? A noun. We're looking at not an adjective, not a verb. We're looking at a noun. It's a physical thing, right? A wooden stake or post used as an upright along with others to form a fence, right? A broad vertical stripe down the middle of a shield, which is a stake, but it's a wooden stake that has a point at the top of it, man. Which this is going into the actual device that they're going to use to implement to cut into your skin. But you got to have the spirit to see it. If you can't see it, there's nothing we can do to make somebody see it. All we got to do, all that the Lord told us to do is tell the truth about the fact of the matter. And it's up to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua to open your eyes to see it. From karazo, to sharpen to a point. You see that from charazo. Let me see something real quick. Karax, from carazo, to sharpen to a point akin to, that's the idea of scratching. You see that? The idea of scratching. Like a trench, like when you have a trench that's being built, they put ramparts around the trench. You see? Now this word karax is akin. What does akin mean? Similar to grafo, to write. When you write down, like if you got a pen and you writing down on the paper, you're etching into the paper to write down a word. Okay? So a grafo is something that could be grafted into you. And Esau is a carnal man. He's not going to use a spiritual aspect when he's a carnal man. He physically wants to graft something into you, which that graph, graft. You got to roll the R, man. When you speak the Greek, when you see the R, you got to roll it. But when he physically wants to graft into you. You see? He wants to put his imprint inside of you, which is a physical thing. Now, lastly, what I want to do is, let's check this out. It's the last thing, and I'm going to wrap it up. Verse 18, it says, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. For it's the number of a man, and his number is 666, 666, right? And when you get to 666, all right, you get high size stigma. High size stigma. Okay? Salakia, hold on 1 second. Because I want to get that word stigma. Let me do this. Stigma. Stigma. A mark of disgrace associated with a particular circumstance, quality, or person. And these people are going to be shamed that take the MOTB. A mark of disgrace associated with a particular circumstance. The circumstance is going to be all hell breaking loose, order out of chaos, quality, or person. Okay? What does stigma mean? Well, let me do stigma Greek. Okay. Interesting. Christians, talk about cut. Talk about cut. Y'all see it. See the ancient Egyptian owls, the mark of a servant. Like you would put an awl in the ear of a Hebrew slave if they want to remain with their master according to the law. It would have to be cut. You would have to get an awl in your ear, you have to get pierced through your ear, man. But what does this look like? What does it look like? Are we making things up here? Stigma was borrowed from Latin stigma meaning mark or brand, and ultimately comes from Greek stizin, meaning to tattoo, which is a tattoo is what, in order to get a tattoo, you have to be cut. Okay? Earliest English use hues close to the word's origin. Stigma in English first refers to a scar left by a hot iron. That is a brand. And when you get branded, you're being cut into your skin. Now, let's go here. And this is the last thing I'm gonna do. Galatians 6 and 17. It says, From henceforth, let no man trouble me, for I bear in my body the marks of the Lord Yahushai. Now, did the Apostle Paul have physical marks in his skin? Yes, he did have physical marks in his skin. He got beat, he got whipped, he got scourged, so he had physical marks in his skin. Scars to prove it. You know, he had scars to prove that he got beat. You see? Now, what is this word marks here? Now I don't want to load. Funny. Oh, boy. Let me just do this here. Marks. Stigma. You see that? A mark pricked in or branded upon the body. A mark pricked in or branded upon the body. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander branded or pricked, cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belonged to. And there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their gods. And that's exactly what Esau wants to do with the charagma, man. The MOTB. Ain't nothing new there's nothing new under the sun, man. So for you to say that the word charagma doesn't mean to cut, who's lying? Who's really lying? Like the Apostle Tahar said. Are you going to think, or are you being taught to think? Hey, the scripture says, let the Most High be true and every man a liar, man. You see? So who's really lying? With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught us his truth. And much peace, love, and salutation to the elect. Shalom.